initial discussion of the Einstein equations, and then I'll discuss how to measure distances in curved spaces, and then I'll make some comments on how to actually go about solving the Einstein equations, and discuss features or solutions. This will mostly be the focus of next week's lectures. So I've posted tutorial 3 on the course website. I've also posted my lecture notes. Okay. So, to review, we discussed earlier the equivalence principle. The equivalence principle basically says that inertial mass is the same as gravitational mass. And Einstein used the equivalence principle to deduce that space was curved. And the content of the Einstein equations is that the curvature of space tells matter how to move. And conversely, the presence of matter or energy tells space-time how to curve. So, space-time in Einstein's conception is dynamical. It's not just an arena in which events take place. It's really an arena which responds to the presence of matter and energy. So space-time changes depending upon what matter is present in the geometry. So the Einstein equations basically relate the geometry of space-time to stuff in the universe. Okay, so conceptually, this is what we discussed in the first lecture this week. So yesterday, we tried to put some meaning on what a dynamical space-time actually refers to by looking at homogeneous isotropic geometries that express curvature. Okay. So we looked at particular geometries last time, and these geometries were respecting homogeneity and isotropy. So I'll remind you, homogeneity means that anywhere in the universe is equivalent to anywhere else in the universe. And isotropy means that from that position anywhere in the universe, any direction is the same as any other direction. Okay? And we looked at various metrics, and we wrote down non-elements, ds squared. This is basically an expression of the Pythagorean theorem in whatever spatial slice you're looking at. And this guy was something like this. So d omega 2 squared is the metric on a round true sphere. And this metric is d theta squared plus sine squared theta d phi squared. And theta and phi refer to angles on the sphere. So we have a north pole, and theta refers to the deviation from the north pole, and this fixes a circle of latitude. And on this circle of latitude, we have this angle phi. Okay. S kappa of R is equal to R sine R over R. minus 1. So plus 1 is positively curved. 0 is flat. And this is negatively curved. So the sphere is an example of a positively curved geometry with radius and curvature r, which is determined by the radius of the sphere. The saddle is an example of a negatively curved homogeneous geometry, and the saddle has a radius curvature also given by r. This r, little r, is a displacement from the North Pole, say. So it's a distance traveled along the surface that you're considering. Okay, so we discussed these metrics last time, and we determined that there was a principle that applied in general relativity called general covariance. So if we promote this metric to the FRW metric, the Friedmann-Roberts-Schumacher metric, we have that we also have time in addition to space. And we have ds squared is minus c squared dt squared plus the spatial metric a of t squared dr squared plus s half squared of r d omega 2 squared. Okay? We can write this metric in various different coordinate systems. So we can write this metric, for example, as minus c squared dt squared plus a of t squared dc squared 1 minus kappa c squared over r squared plus c squared d omega 2 squared, where we defined s kappa as c. So general covariance tells us the coordinates are labels. With no intrinsic meaning of their own. So that's the second basic insight of Einstein, in addition to the equivalence principle. We have general covariance and diffeomorphism invariance. So if we make a differentiable change of coordinates, the laws of physics have the same functional form. And in addition, the coordinates are just labels. So, we then discussed co-moving coordinates. And a picture illustrated what was going on. So we had coordinates at a time t1, x, y, and z. These are coordinates. So the x, y, and z represent coordinates on this grid. And as time evolves, the scale factor we've introduced in the metrics, a of t, means the universe can expand. But the coordinates we assign here, x, y, and z, remain the same. And a of t just represents the expansion of the universe as you go from time t1 to time t2. Okay. So these are the co-moving coordinates we introduced. And then we discussed the light cone for measuring distances in space-time. So a light cone tells you what part of space-time you're causally connected to. What part of space-time has consists of places that can influence you, and similarly, what part of space-time you can influence. So if you were here, you're receiving light from all parts of the universe. This light reaches you today, and within this cone are places in space-time that can send you a signal at a speed less than the speed of light. The speed of light is the maximum speed in the universe that you can communicate information. So these points can send information to you. Therefore, points within the light cone are points that can influence you. So this is your past. Similarly, you have the future. The future are places in the universe to which you can send a signal. So in your future light cone are points to which you can communicate a signal at some speed which is less than the speed of light. And the boundary of the light cone is basically given by where the light rays travel. So along the light cone, distances are 0. And inside the light cone, distances are negative. So the distances are negative because we have a factor here. So there's a negative sign in front of the term which involves dt squared. Okay? So suppose you were on this spatial slice at time t0. So the coordinates of some other point here are t0, x, y, and z. And you're at t0 times the origin. So dx, dy, and dz is x squared plus y squared plus z squared. And dt squared is 0, since points on here are also at time t0. Okay? So the distance here is positive. So these points are called space-light separated, points outside the light cone. So you're a distance x squared plus y squared plus z squared away from the origin. Light can travel at a finite speed, so you can't instantaneously communicate from here to here. So these points are points that can't influence you. There's no way that a light signal can travel from here to you. Similarly, all points outside of the light cone can't be communicated with with a signal traveling at less than or equal to the speed of light. So these points are called space-light separated. The points inside, where the distance is negative, are time-light separated. So ds squared greater than 0 is outside the light cone. So whatever is happening in our universe today can only be influenced by the part of the universe from which light signals or other signals can have reached us within the lifetime of the universe. Yeah?
So sorry, just to check, space-light separated, is that outside the lifetime?
Space-light is outside light.
Oh, so not just on the...
Not just on the planet. So all these points are space-light separated. All of these points are time-light separated. And all of these points are null separated. Okay? Everyone happy with this? Okay. So I want to start discussing how you measure distances in the FRW of the universe. And so far, we've looked at measuring spatial distances, and that's something with which we're familiar. So essentially, we're working in flat space in our everyday lives. Everyday lives, to go from a point to another point, we just measure the straight line between the 2 points, and we use the Pythagorean theorem basically to determine how far away we are from some other point in the grid set. So we want to consider how to use the metric in order to describe distances between points in space-time. Now, distance between points in space-time is something which is physical. So all observers will measure the same invariant distance between 2 points in space-time. They may use different coordinates, they may use a different language to describe these points, but every observer will measure the same distance. Okay. So the metric is basically a ruler for measuring distances in space-time. Okay, so the confusion or the complication is that suppose we want to measure the distance between us and a distant galaxy. When we say there's a distant galaxy, what we mean is, what we're looking at is light that's emitted from that distant galaxy. That light takes time to come to Earth. So we need to specify a time at which we're measuring the distance. We can't just, in order to define the distance, we specify a time at which the distance is computed. It's not a concept which exists independent of knowing the time. It's just a consequence of the speed of light being finite. Okay? So we need to specify time at which we measure distance. So at a fixed time, we then use the metric in the spatial component, a of t squared, dr squared, plus f of r squared, d omega t squared, to measure the distance. Okay. So we need, at a fixed time, to compute the scale factor, then we compute the distance on that grid I showed earlier, and the scale factor times that distance on that grid gives us spatial separation between 2 points at a fixed time. Okay. Okay, so along the geodesic,
Sorry, why did you remove the minus c dt squared, because that fixed point?
because the fixed time dt is equal to 0.
Fixed time, so I thought it was fixed point.
Okay, so along the geodesic, We've spatial geodesics right now. What do we know about the angles? So a geodesic is the extremal path between 2 points. So at a fixed time, suppose we've got a point here and a point there. So there's a spatial distance between these 2 points, here and there. What do we know about the angle along that geodesic?
It remains constant.
Yes. So theta equals constant, and phi equals constant. So this tells us then that d theta and d phi are both 0. So the distance between the 2 points is just going to be specified by dr. Okay. So we have ds squared equals a of t squared dr squared. Okay, so let's take the square root of this equation. We have ds equals a of t dr. So we can define what's called the proper distance, dp of t. This is the proper distance. As the integral ds, which is the integral a of t dr. Okay, so we're integrating from 0 to r. And this is then a of t times r. Great. Yeah.
Why is the scale factor not fixed as well if it's in a fixed time?
The scale factor is fixed. It's just a function of whatever time you're looking at.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, suppose we use a of t squared, so ds squared is a of t squared times d c squared 1 minus kappa c squared over r squared plus c squared d omega 2 squared. So before, I was working in a coordinate system where I had the metric ds squared was a of t squared times dr squared plus s kappa of r squared d omega 2 squared. I'm working at a fixed time, so there's no c factor that appears in front here with a minus sign. So before, when I made these statements, I was working with this metric. Suppose you work with this metric. The answers need to be the same. Okay? So we can just invert. So we had s kappa of r was r sine r over r for kappa equals 1, r for kappa equals 0, and r sinh r over r for kappa equals minus 1. So, r is equal to r. So So we set this equal to C. So this is sine inverse C over R, for kappa equals plus 1. R is equal to C for kappa equals 0, and R is equal to R sinh inverse C over R for kappa is minus 1. Okay? So I just took this expression and solved for R. So, in this language, dp of t, this proper distance I computed, equals a of t times r, so it's a of t, r, sine inverse c over r, a of t times c, or a of t times r, sinh inverse c over r, depending upon whether kappa plus 1, kappa is 0, or kappa is minus 1. Okay? So that's how you measure proper distance in this coordinate system. Okay, so let's see how the proper distance changes as a function of time. So, let's look at d by dt, dp of t. Okay, so this is dp dot. All the time dependence is in this a of t term. So, dp dot is a dot of t times r. So, r is dp of t over a of t. Right? So this then is a dot of t over a of t times dp of t. So what's a dot over a? That's the Hubble constant, exactly. So that's h dp of t. So let's call dp of t0 today, the velocity dp dot of t0 today, the velocity vp of t. So this is a dot over a, evaluated today, dp t0, which is h0 dp of t0. Okay, so if you're measuring things today, the rate of change of the proper distance is a velocity, and this velocity is equal to the Hubble constant times what the proper distance is. Okay? So as the proper distance increases, the rate of change of the proper distance also increases. The proportionality constant is h0. Okay? In other words, dp dot t0 over dp of t0 is a dot over a evaluated t0, which is h0. So we're now going to encounter a puzzle, and this puzzle may look like a challenge of special relativity, but it doesn't. The puzzle is the following. So, dh, we're going to find dh of t0 as c over h0. So this is going to be called the Hubble distance. Okay, so the units of c is meters per second, say, h0 has units of inverse time, so the units is going to be a distance. So that works out. So we have Vp of t0 equals dp dot t0, and this equals h0 dp of t0. I'm just repeating the equation above. So suppose dp was greater than dh. Okay, so you're at some distance, some proper distance larger than the Hubble distance. Then Vp is greater than h0, c over h0, which is equal to c. So you have velocities that are bigger than the speed of light. So at distances larger than h0, than dh, sorry, galaxies are receding from us faster than the speed of light. Why isn't that a problem? Yeah.
So just ask, why is dp greater than dh?
I'm just taking proper distances bigger than dh.
You're assuming.
dh is, no, so dh is just a distance. You just compute this distance.
Okay.
You look at galaxies that are further away than us, from us than this distance. Let's just assume that we're looking at some galaxies further away from us than dh.
Okay.
There's certainly galaxies that are further away from us than dh.
Oh yes, okay.
Okay? When we do that, we notice these galaxies are moving away from us, by Hubble's law, faster than the speed of light. Is that a problem? I claim the answer is no. Why is the answer no? So, let's just briefly just remember h0 is 70 kilometers per second per megaparsec, which means that dh of t0 is 4,300 megaparsecs. So any galaxy that's further away from us than 4,300 megaparsecs looks to be moving away faster than the speed of light. So you have an idea about why this isn't a problem.
Isn't it because of space restrictions, so it's not actually increasing the speed that the light is traveling, or that the galaxies are moving apart?
Yes, exactly. Space is expanding. Space is expanding in such a way these galaxies are moving away from us faster than the speed of light. As a property of space, changing is a function of time. It's not a property that's violating special relativity anyway. You're not communicating information faster than the speed of light. You're not violating causality. You're not changing anything about physics. You're just noting that because space is expanding, these things are moving away from us very fast. So this is not a violation of special relativity. Because space itself is expanding.
Does that mean that the space is expanding faster than the speed of light?
Yes.
We did it, guys. Faster than the speed of light. So, but then why doesn't that violate special relativity if there is something that's going faster than the speed of light?
Special relativity is really about communicating information. So as long as information can't be transmitted from one point to another point faster than the speed of light, you're not violating any of the laws of physics. Space is just expanding very rapidly.
Okay.
There's no reason why that can't happen.
If these things are expanding faster than the speed of light, will we ever be able to see them?
Eventually they'll fall far enough away that we'll never be able to send a signal to them. They'll fall outside of our cosmological horizon. This is a consequence of being in a space-time called de Sitter space. So de Sitter space has a horizon. And when things fall past the horizon, just like when things fall past the horizon of a black hole, we'll never see them. In order to communicate with things beyond the horizon, you send a signal faster than the speed of light. The laws of physics forbid that.
And then one last thing, sir. You keep speaking about we can't go faster than the speed of light because of causality. What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is that in physics, A causes B. Means that if I launch a rocket and the rocket is shot at something, the fact that I shot the rocket is what causes the rocket to hit something else. So the result of an action succeeds the cause of the action. So this is called causality. If I was able to send signals faster than the speed of light, then I could have the order of things changing, and that's forbidden.
How would it change the order?
Okay, so let's see if I can come up with some examples. So let's return to our cartoon picture of the light cone. So this is us. And points within the light cone are points with which we can communicate with signals that are sent slower than the speed of light. So to reach a point outside the light cone, say a point here, I can send a signal at a velocity v greater than the speed of light. Okay? Suppose I do that, then this point also has a light cone that evolves into the future. So this point now can influence points over here, because it can send signals that are slower than the speed of light and reach points there. So the light cone at this point intersects with my light cone here. So the physics here is influenced by the physics there, when it shouldn't be, because these points can't communicate with signals that are less than the speed of light. So the only way this point can influence events here is if I can communicate to this point faster than the speed of light.
Okay.
Because it's outside the light cone that violates causality.
But where does the causality come into it?
So if these 2 points are separate, they can't be communicated to each other, then the physics here is independent of any initial conditions here. Okay? So if I look at this point and consider its light cone, it's starting to influence events which it should not have access to. That's sort of what I mean by violating causality.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a break. 5 minutes. Let's get started again. So, okay, causality is a bit strange. Violations of causality are weird. So let's look at this diagram again. And we're considering 2 different points in space-time. We're considering the future and the past in 2 different points in space-time. So the real difficulty is that you communicate, say, to this point which is outside the light cone here, with some signal faster than the speed of light. To some inertial observers, it looks like you sent a signal backward in time, and that's forbidden by physics. Cause and effect are reversed in that scenario. So that's another way to explain why causality is involved. You don't want to be able to send signals to your past. Maybe you do. I don't know. Okay.
Wait, how would that reach your past, sir?
Well, there's some inertial observer for which this will look like a path symbol. We can go through the mathematics at some other point. Come to my office if you want. I'll explain it pictorially here. Okay, so let's suppose we're observing a galaxy. We know the angle, theta and phi, along which we're looking at the galaxy. We don't know the proper distance to the galaxy. We can measure, so we don't know proper distance, because along that line of sight, there could be multiple galaxies at different distances away, and a priori we don't know how far away they are. Okay? We can measure the redshift. So I want to check what the relationship between redshift and scale factor is. So the redshift z tells us, I claim, the scale factor when the light was emitted. Okay, so let's see how that works. So let's suppose a light was emitted at a time t emission, and the light is observed today at time t0. Okay? So, we know that light travels along null geodesics. So that tells us what? It tells us ds squared for the light equals 0.
So just to confirm again, when you say light travels in geodesics, does that mean in the reference frame of light, the light hasn't moved?
Yes. It means the distance of light travels in the metric we're studying is 0.
Okay.
The 2 points in space-time are different points though. So the coordinates of the 2 points are, so remember we had this function g, which took 2 points in space-time x and y, and returned a number, the distance. So I'm saying the distance is 0, but x is equal to t1, r1, theta 1, phi 1, and y is equal to t2, r2, theta 2, phi 2. Those coordinates can be different.
That light makes something for itself.
But the distance that you measure with this metric is 0. Okay? Okay. It's not that the points are distinct, so it's not like the distance is 0 because the points coincide. Distance is 0 because you're measuring with this metric. So, if ds equals 0, then we have c squared dt squared equals a of t squared dr squared. We know the angles are the same, so theta and phi aren't changing. Okay. So now, solving this equation, we have c dt over a of t equals dr. And we integrate this, c from time emission to time today, dt a of t equals the integral from 0 r dr, which is r. Okay? So remember that light is a wave. So let's look at So the wavelength at time of emission is lambda e, and the wavelength today is lambda 0. Okay? So let's look at what happens when we consider the next wave crest. Okay? So, at the next crest, we have C integral TE plus lambda E over C to T0 plus lambda 0 over C dt A of t. But this equals 0 r dr is r. So the next crest is going to be given by this expression here. And you'll notice the lambda is a wavelength, so it's a distance divided by distance by time, which is a time, so you need to work out in the limits of integration. So we have then two expressions that are equal to each other. We have the integral TE to T0 dt over A of t equals the integral from TE plus lambda E over C to T0 plus lambda 0 over C dt over A of t. They're both equal to R. So let's subtract integral from TE plus lambda E over C to T0 dt over A of t from both sides. So we've got the integral here, TE to T0 dt over A of t minus the integral from TE plus lambda E over C to T0 dt over A of t. And this equals the integral TE plus lambda E over C, T0 plus lambda 0 over C, dt over A of t, minus the integral TE plus lambda E over C, T0 dt over A of t. Okay? So the expression here then is so that's going to be TE plus lambda E over C dt over A of t on the left hand side. Because this T0 is the same, you're evaluating this function at T0 the plus sign, this function at T0 the minus sign, this minus sign here, those terms will cancel, and you'll have TE as a lower bound, and there's a 2 minus signs here, you evaluate the integral, so this becomes an upper bound. Okay? Similarly, on the other side, we have T0 to T0 plus lambda 0 over C dt over A of t. So this bound cancels with that. Okay. So now, the wavelengths we're studying are really, really tiny. So lambda over C is order 10 to the minus 15 seconds, which is 10 to the minus 32 inverse Hubble constants. Okay, so in this interval, between T0 and then T0 plus lambda 0 over C, A of t doesn't change very much. A of t barely changes at all during a single crest. Okay? So we can pull this out of the interval since it's roughly constant. So then we have 1 over A of TE, T evaluated from TE to TE plus lambda E over C equals 1 over A of T0, T evaluated from T0 to T0 plus lambda 0 over C, which tells us that lambda E over A of TE equals lambda 0 over A of T0. Okay?
So,
Yeah?
may I ask, what does the equality of those two integrals tell us physically?
It tells us that, okay, so we've launched the ray, let's examine the ray here, basically, the light that's emitted at the trough, okay? That light travels to us from time emitted to time today, and it travels some distance, okay? As it travels, the expansion of space makes that wavelength stretch. So the wavelength that you observe is different from the wavelength that was emitted. So we observe the wavelength at lambda 0. The next trough is one wavelength more. So that next trough is emitted to us at this time, T0 plus, it's emitted at TE plus lambda E over C. And we observe it at T0 plus lambda observed over C. That distance between this trough and this trough is essentially very, very tiny. The emission of one trough to the next is very, very tiny. So the distance traveled by light at the second trough and light at the first trough is the same. Okay?
Because they're so close together.
Yeah. Okay, so we derived an expression there from the previous board, and now we want to interpret what it means. Okay, so the ratio A of T0 to A of TE is, rearranging terms, lambda 0 over lambda E. Okay? So this equals lambda 0 minus lambda E over lambda E plus lambda E over lambda E, which is, so this difference in the wavelength observed, the wavelength emitted, divided by the wavelength emitted, is what? The redshift. So this equals Z plus 1. Okay? So, we've normalized things, so the scale factor today is 1. So, 1 plus Z is 1 over the scale factor at emission. We know the universe was smaller in the past, so 1 over something smaller than 1 is going to be bigger than 1. So it makes sense to add in 1 plus something small, the redshift Z. Okay? So, suppose, for example, that the redshift we measure is 2. Then A of TE is 1 over 1 plus 2, which is 1/3. So the light observed at redshift 2 was emitted when the scale factor of the universe was 1/3 the scale factor today. So notice that redshift here depends on the ratio of the scale factors. It does not depend on how fast the universe is expanding. It does not depend on how the evolution scale factor works. It just depends on the ratio of the scale factors, then and now. So, for example, in principle, a scale factor could be oscillating. It's not, but it could be. You're insensitive to that in this discussion. You're only concerned with the scale factor then is compared to what the scale factor today is. Okay, so I want to say a few qualitative words about the Einstein equations, and then we'll discuss the Einstein equations in more detail next week. So, any questions? Okay, so the metric we've written, consistent with homogeneity in isotropy, looks like minus c squared dt squared plus a of t squared dr squared plus s kappa of r squared d omega 2 squared. Now, if you look at this equation, s kappa of r is fixed once you choose r. Once you choose kappa. So s kappa of r was r sine r over r, sinh r over r, depending on whether kappa was +1, 0, or -1. So once you determine what kappa is, you know what this function in the metric is. Okay. Similarly, we know what d omega 2 is. This is just going to be d theta squared plus sine squared theta d phi squared. So if you look at the metric, it's a function of time. There's an a of t there. It's a function of r, and there's a function of theta that appears in the metric. There's no function of phi that appears in the metric. Okay? Now, what the Einstein equations tell us, so the left-hand side, the Einstein equation, is geometry. So we have a term, which is r mu nu minus 1/2 g mu nu r. This object, g mu nu, is constructed from a line element. It's a matrix. And we discussed briefly how this matrix was written down last time. Okay? So we know, knowing the line element, how to measure distances, we know this metric matrix, g mu nu. There's a machine which lets us compute r mu nu and r from g mu nu. So the left-hand side is completely determined by this geometry. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say the left-hand side is geometry. Once I know this metric line element, I know the left-hand side of Einstein's equations.
So is this metric line element directly related to, is it a metric of the Einstein equations?
So df squared is called the metric line element. That's just notation. G mu nu is called the metric tensor, if you like. The metric tensor is written down by inspection of this guy here. Okay, so in this case, the metric tensor is we have a row vector dt, dx, dy, dz times the matrix G mu nu times the column vector dt, dx, dy, dz. You multiply these numbers together, you'll get the metric line element. So the matrix G mu nu here is minus c squared, a of t squared, s kappa of r squared, a of t squared, s kappa of r squared sine squared theta. Okay? So if you multiply this matrix by these vectors, it will recover this expression here. Okay? So as you see, this metric is a function of t, of r, and of theta. Just like I claimed. So given G mu nu, you can grind through a machine to figure out the left-hand side of the Einstein equations. The right-hand side of the Einstein equations was 8 pi G Newton over c to the fourth times some tensor called T mu nu. This T mu nu is called the stress energy tensor, or the energy momentum tensor. And for our purposes, it'll turn out that this tensor will be a tensor which looks like this. It's a diagonal term, rho c squared, which basically tells you about the energy density, and 3 more terms in spatial directions to tell you about the pressure. Okay? So, solving this equation, left-hand side equals right-hand side, is solving for a space-time. A space-time which satisfies the Einstein equations. Now, the left-hand side gives us a differential equation. For the scale factor, A of t. So next week, we'll discuss what this differential equation is, and then in subsequent weeks, you'll solve this differential equation with various assumptions for what the pressure and the energy density are. The pressure and the energy density are dependent upon what stuff is in the universe. So if the universe is radiation dominated, you'll have a different stress tensor than if the universe is matter dominated, if the universe is vacuum dominated. Okay? So depending upon what stuff is in the universe, we'll solve this equation. When we solve this equation to determine the method, and that tells us about the geometry of space-time. Yeah?
So regarding the proper distance, how does one actually calculate that once we have the redshift?
So once you have the redshift, you know what A of t is. So A of t then is just the distance times so the proper distance, dp of t, is A of t times r. So given A of t, so A of t is determined by the redshift. We can just measure distances.
And just to check this proper distance, is that like where the distant galaxy is now, but beyond what we see from the light, because the light was emitted when the galaxy was at a certain point,
Okay,
now
so
expanded further.
To determine proper distance, you need to fix a time. Once you fix a time, you're asking how far apart two things were at that time. That's what the proper distance is measured.
Okay.
Okay, so next week is going to be deriving the Einstein equations. So the derivation we're going to do is sort of the cheap derivation. It's a cheap derivation because you guys don't know general relativity yet. So as a result, we need to fudge things a bit. But we'll get the right equations at the end. So next week I'll show you the fudges we do in order to get the Einstein equations. Okay. Any questions? Yeah.
So what does the metric mean?
So the metric basically tells you how to measure distances. It's like a meter stick. You're working in a curved geometry now. Because you're working in a curved geometry, the meter stick needs to respond to the curvature of space-time. So what the metric does is it tells you how far separated 2 points are in space-time. It returns a number with units of length, which tells you how far separated two events are. Yeah.
Can you please show us how does the stress energy tensor related to the pressure?
I'll show you this next week. That's the whole point of next week. Okay. Other questions? Okay, see you next week.
So